Hi guys, this is my very first YouTube live stream. I feel so cringe. I don't really like going live, but I just filmed part one, possibly, of the book review for Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claud Anderson. I had a subscriber leave a comment. Let me see, can I pull it up? Um, Darrell Caldwell 4 days ago. He said, "Don't forget about the book review. Listen, I have not forgot about it. You guys know I'm a filmmaker. My husband and I have a marketing and production company. I just gotta go hard. I cannot do anything less. If I'm not going hard, I'm going home. So I put a lot of energy into my book reviews, and those seem to be the favorite videos on my channel. So gotta keep the bar high." But I thought I'd just come and share a couple of quotes with you guys because I didn't even get through the whole book review. It's just so dense. Maybe that's my bad. I think so many things are so important in here that I can't just give y'all the best of the best. So I'm gonna work on that, right? But yeah, so there are 9 chapters in this book. The nature of the problem, power and Black progress, impediments to empowerment and economic justice, why whites chose to enslave Blacks, why Blacks cannot emulate ethnic immigrants, white bridges to wealth and power, a national public policy on Black people, becoming politically and economically competitive in America, cultural foundations for economic power, Black artists and athletes. See that pretty good. So I pretty much covered chapters 1 through 4. Chapter 5, Why Blacks Cannot Emulate Ethnic Immigrants, is really just about how unique our situation is as African Americans, who did not choose to be over here. We were forced over here and then bred like crazy to keep profits high. I really, really wish I could have gotten more into chapter 6 and chapter 7, though. So I'll probably just read a couple of quotes from those chapters. Let me show you guys. Chapter 6 is so dense. This is where the notes start for chapter 6. They don't end until down here. And this is all quotes. So the notes that you see, the sentences, like when I, go to the book, it's like 2 or 3 sentences. So this is a lot of information that is just facts, 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 y'all. At the end of this book, look at all these sources he has. Sources. Or these are charts, but look, sources. 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 Like, this book is so is so dense. And I like that he has all those sources because this book is not a cozy, cute read. And I said this several times in the book review that I filmed. I am not promoting divisiveness, being anti any group. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's strategic for us. And that's just not who I am, right? Even he's not either. On page 7 of this book, he says, "The purpose of this book is not to criticize any group of people, but to analyze history and propose a reasonable solution." And so that's pretty much what this book is for. It's not to make anyone feel bad, make anyone feel uncomfortable, right? But just to keep it real with ourselves, because a lot of times, if you don't understand the history and the factors that have led to us being where we are, you might look at the Black community and just think we are just, there's no hope for us. We're just criminals. We just can't get it together. And that's not the case. There's a lot of reasons why we are where we are and, have been through what we've been through. So if you don't understand that, you probably won't be able to actually find a good solution. So let me find y'all a couple of quotes. Chapter 6 and 7, which is so good. All right. I know what I'll do. So I ended my book review talking about page 132. deep stuff. A lot of people make you feel like slavery is not that deep. Everybody was enslaved. Slavery is a natural human thing, which is a very true thing. It is human nature to look out for your own best interest and to want to be superior to people who don't look like you. That is a human nature thing, right? But on page 132, Dr. Claud Anderson says that overall, during the 1700s, slave trading revenues expanded England's foreign trade by more than 700%, and annual slave trade revenues averaged nearly $5 million, which in today's dollars would be nearly $50 billion annually. Slave trading and the related commercial activities were so lucrative that these activities alone elevated England from a poor nation to the single most powerful nation in the world. So this is not just something to sneeze at. At the same time that Africans were being removed from their homeland and being enslaved and oppressed, the European countries were coming out of the Dark Ages and, those rat plagues and the religious oppression, right? And they saw just being real an easy target in African humanity because we were fighting tribal wars and we had so much gold and just resources that we didn't really even value it, right? So we just wanted to be in good standing with the guests. It was like you want people that come into your house to think highly of you, so you were just like, here, take it. And so we were already enslaving one another because we didn't like what somebody in another tribe said to us. Very much like gang wars is what I'm gathering. And so it was easy for the European, even Arab slave settlers to take advantage of this because we didn't even value each other. We were just like, it's a whole bunch of Negroes over here. They get on my nerves. That's kind of like the attitude that the African nations had towards other tribes. And so, the Europeans were like, well, shoot, we need some work done. And if y'all don't care, I'll surely take them off your hands. And it got to a point where it was happening so much that it was like, what can y'all even do? And now we're coming over here with guns and you need to give us these. I'm not asking you, I'm taking them from you, right? Because this is making us a lot of money. And then it didn't stop with slaves. It turned into gold. It turned into other resources. It turned into, the things that elevated England from a poor nation to the single most powerful nation in the world. So it's very, very deep stuff. Also, something that's interesting to me on page 157. So there was we all know about Jim Crow and things like that, but I'll just tell you what he says on page 154. Public policy is important for Blacks to study because it gives clear insight into the process and methods that the dominant society used to establish absolute control over millions of Blacks as a laboring class. So basically, our situation and our status in America didn't just happen by happenstance. It's not just because we're lazy. It's not just because we're not strategic. There were concentrated efforts to, pass laws and come in agreement about our status in America. As early as 1638, see on page 157. On page 157, there was the Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion, looking at my notes over here. And it said, Black people shall constitute an available, uncompensated, non-competitive, well-disciplined, permanently subordinated workforce, which shall be separated from the white society. And after the 1660s, so that was written in 1638, but after the 1660s, all of the colonies had written Black enslavement into their statutes. In 1667, in Britain, there was an act to regulate the Negroes on British plantations. So this book is important because it shows people how we ended up, where we are. And to me, it also shows us of the importance for us to get on one accord, to get ourselves together. If you watch my content lately, it's been shifting towards, how I can become a better businesswoman, how I can become more productive, more, just fine-tuned in different areas, because this is very important for us if we don't want to stay on the bottom. And even if some of us are I don't care, man, I'm just out here making my money. I don't even see color, right? But think about the kids. that still are going to be affected by that. You know, what's happening with the education, what's happening with the school to prison pipeline and mass incarceration. And the thing is, that stuff doesn't just affect those kids. Those kids get out and they affect society. So I think we low key have a responsibility to care, you know, not to the point where we're making ourselves sick or trying to control things that we can't control, but this stuff it is affecting us, and it's not just a happenstance thing. So I did record that book review for the subscriber who asked about it. It might take me a minute to edit it because it's quite a lot to edit and talk about, but I want you guys to know I've not forgotten about y'all. If you've been wondering where the book review is, this is just a little peek, a little preview. I said several times in what I filmed, you need this book in your library. This book is so good. I go back over this book on chapter 8. Let's see. Okay, so in chapter 8 is becoming politically and economically competitive in America. And he pretty much lays out a blueprint, like, which I am following for leadership, wealth and capital foundation. I mean, it's just so just rich with knowledge and insight. So this book review is not going to do you all justice if you don't get this book for yourself. Hey, we got to do what we can do, right? So coming soon. This is my first YouTube live. I don't really like going live, but let me know what y'all thought about this. And until next time, guys, seek the kingdom and serve the community.